What's going on, family? It's your guy, Derek P. Wells. And first, I want to let you know how grateful we are that you participated in Ignite Your Dream 2023. I trust that you have been actively working with the lessons and that you are seeing the fruit of your labor. Many of you asked if we would be releasing the conference, and of course the answer is yes. All I ask is that you enjoy it, put it to work, and share it with somebody else. And for those of you interested in our upcoming programs, we've got something special. It's called the 7 Keys to Unlock Your Potential. And again, I only have one ask, and that ask is that you will share the link with your network so that they can be blessed as you're being blessed. Again, we appreciate your time and commitment to becoming the very best version of your amazing self. Now, enjoy. Peace and blessings.
Good afternoon and welcome. I am so excited to speak to you guys today about spiritual entrepreneurship. I am coming to you on behalf of my leader, my spiritual teacher, the Reverend Dr. Derek B. Wells. And for the last 12 years, I have had the honor, I've had the opportunity to serve as his Chief Operating Officer. So I have had a bird's eye view of watching how he leads as a business leader, but from a spiritual perspective. In addition to that, I'm a bit of an entrepreneur in my own right. I've had the opportunity to have my own business along with my family. We have a business that is a real estate hospitality investment group, and it is a multi-million-dollar business, if I do say so myself. And so I want to make sure that I share some of the spiritual tools that we use, some of the knowledge, some of the things that I've gained working here that we infuse into our entrepreneurship. A lot of times people will set down their spirituality when it comes to hardcore business. They'll set down everything they've learned about the truth when it comes to the negotiation table, when it comes to raising money, when it comes to hiring employees. But today we are going to talk about how to make sure we use our spiritual tools when we are in business, when we are entrepreneurs, when we are business leaders. So for those of you that are already running your own business, if you are planning to start a business, or if you're moving or looking to move into any position of leadership in your industry, I want to talk to you about how to access your divine protection and access your divine direction that belongs to you by birthright. I'm going to say that again. Your divine protection and your divine direction, it belongs to you by birthright. In entrepreneurship, in business, in leadership, really in life, there is no straight line from beginning to whatever you call success. It just doesn't exist. Even right now, I'm sure many of you are holding an iPhone. I'm sure many of you use Apple products. Apple computers, for example, is one of the largest corporations that has ever existed. By market value, it is the biggest tech company in the world. And actually, a couple of years ago, Apple was the biggest company in the world. But since its founding in 1976, even Apple, even that company that made that iPhone that you're using right now, had a lot of ups and downs. Apple Computer, again, was founded in 1976 by the famous Steve Jobs and a couple partners. And its first product, it failed completely. The second product it had worked magnificently, but then even 10 years later, there was a lot of turmoil. They were on the brink of bankruptcy, and the world famous Apple Computer was to the point where it even ousted its founder, Steve Jobs. The founder got fired. Then 10 years after that, in the late 90s, Apple was again on the brink of bankruptcy. brings back its founder, who infuses some innovations that we're familiar with today. So they go from not just computers, they go to the iPod, they go to the iPhone, they go to the iPad, all of these things we're familiar with now. The point is that even that corporation, even the giant, the success that is Apple Computers, did not have a straight line. There are some ups and some downs. And for you as a business leader, for you as an entrepreneur or a potential entrepreneur, there will be some ups and downs. Not there may be, I'm just speaking to you straight. There will be some ups and downs. There will be some challenges. There will be some changes, but we know how to navigate it in a very special way as spiritual operators. Even the fact that you are experiencing this conference right now, you might be at work, you might be in the comfort of your home, you might be watching on your smart TV or on your computer or on your phone. That is an indicator of how change is inevitable, because if we were doing this 10 years ago, we'd probably be sitting in a room together. But change is going to come. We have to be ready for it. So as truth students, as spiritual operators, whatever business you are in, whatever industry that you choose, know that you are always in the overcoming business. That is your business. You are always in the overcoming business. So I want to work through some of the truth tools that we have in hand, and I want to talk about how angels, yes, we're going to talk about how angels will work with you as a successful business leader, as a successful entrepreneur. And I want to work through it using the book of Acts, the 12th chapter, the 6th through the 11th verse. Take a look with me. This particular scripture reads, "The very night before Herod was going to bring him out, Peter, bound with 2 chains, was sleeping between 2 soldiers. While guards in front of the door were keeping watch over the prison, suddenly an angel of the Lord appeared, and a light shone in the cell. He tapped Peter on the side and woke him, saying, 'Get up quickly.' And the chains fell off his wrist. The angel said to him, 'Fasten your belt and put on your sandals.' He did so. Then he said to him, 'Wrap your cloak around you and follow me.' Peter went out and followed him. He did not realize what was happening with the angel's help was real. He thought he was seeing a vision. After they had passed the first and the second guard, they came before the iron gate leading into the city. It opened for them of its own accord, and they went outside and walking along a lane, when suddenly the angel left him. Then Peter came to himself and said, 'Now I am sure that the Lord has sent his angel and rescued me from the hands of Herod and from all that the Jewish people were expecting.'" So before I go any further, I just want to make sure we are understanding what we are saying when we say angels. When we say angels as messengers of God. Because a lot of times they're depicted as cherubs. A lot of times they're depicted as white folks with wings. I want to make sure that you understand what an angel is as we're talking about working with angels. An angel is the projection into consciousness of a spiritual idea from the fountainhead or highest most thinking. An angel is a word of truth in which is centered the power of God to overcome all limited beliefs and conditions. Again, an angel is that high idea coming to you. It is that super consciousness idea that is coming to you from God. So to fully understand this scripture, and you hear the scripture and you hear about Peter escaping from jail, what's happening there is King Herod is really trying to be a popular politician. He's trying to gain his popularity by persecuting minorities. Does that sound familiar at all? He's trying to gain his popularity, King Herod is, by tossing people in jail, by executing folks, and then people that don't like those folks start cheering. So it's really a political move. As a matter of fact, by this time in Scripture, King Herod has already executed James. So now Peter is in jail, and he's arrested during Passover. So he's arrested for special show, for special effect, during Passover, during a holy time. He's locked down. And he is described as being guarded by 4 squads of 4 soldiers. Now, others are praying for him day and night. And as I read in Scripture, a light is shown into the cell, and an angel appears, and he is unchained and walked out. So I want you to pay attention to the first point in that scripture. Scripture goes through great lengths to describe just how surrounded he is, just how unescapable his situation appears. It appears that he has no hope. Now, each of us has been in a situation before where it appeared that we had no hope. If you are going into business, if you are in business, if you are a business leader, you have or will be in a situation where you feel surrounded by things that are holding you back. When you feel guarded, bound by situations and circumstances that you just can't figure out, how am I going to get out of this? For Peter, on all sides, things are not working for him. He is bound. And you and I, as business leaders, can be bound. We can be shackled by what appears in front of us. I hope you are still with me. And even further, we can be guarded by negative thoughts that are growing out of the appearances. We can be jailed by our own thinking, by our own feelings as a reaction to the appearances. But what happened to Peter? How did he get out of it? How is it instructive to us? So again, first in Scripture it says, a light shone in the cell first. That is, suddenly an angel of the Lord appeared, and a light shone in the cell. He tapped Peter on the side and woke him, saying, "Get up quickly." The light, and I want you to hear me, the light that shines into the prison of your own thinking is your own divine intuition. The light that is shining into the cell, shining into the prison of your own negative thinking, your own negative reactions to what is appearing in front of you is divine intuition. We've all heard that still small voice. We've all had that intuition. People in the secular world will call it a gut feeling. You hear about business leaders saying, well, I just went with my gut. I just had an inkling. My intuition told me to do this. That's the light shining into the cell of your own thinking. And I like how Scripture says that even after the angel projected the light, he still had to tap Peter on the side. Still basically had to knock him over the head. That's what happens when we are stubborn with our intuition. Listen to the intuition first, so you don't have to get knocked over the head by situations in order for God to get your attention. But hey, sometimes that's what it takes. That's what it took for Peter. He's locked down. A light is coming in. That is, there is some intuition. There's something rumbling inside of him telling him what to do, but he still needs a little tap. He still needs a little bit more motivation. And Peter and the angel tapped Peter on the side, woke him, and said, "Get up quickly." So I don't have a lot of time with you today, so I want to really focus on this get up quickly. When you face these inevitable ups and downs, when you face these situations that are binding you mentally, binding you emotionally, when you are working with your business, working with your organization, working in life, and you feel locked down, you feel knocked down, you feel locked up by the situation, we have to learn how to get up quickly. You can feel sad. You can feel upset, but you've got to get up quickly. You can feel angry and frustrated, but you have got to find a way to get to your angel and get up quickly. You can feel nervous. You can feel scared. You can feel afraid. Everybody feels it, but you've got to find a way to what? Get up quickly. Don't stay mired in it. Don't live in it. Don't dwell in it. And you've got to find your own way on how to get up quickly. And listen, I am not telling you this story out of theory. I have been through it. And as a matter of fact, very recently, I have been in a situation where I had to turn to my angels to get me moving. One of our investments is a large restaurant in the south suburbs here of Chicago. And this investment appeared to be being forced out of business by the local politician, by our own local little Herod. And there appeared to be no immediate remedy, no immediate legal remedy, no immediate financial remedy, no immediate political remedy. We were in a situation where it looked like we were going to lose more money than we could comfortably afford to lose. Losing our investment, having to lay off dozens of employees. I mean, a real mess, an absolute mess. And yes, I went through every earthly human emotion that we are taught to avoid as the situation was growing and brewing, and I could not fix it with just my intellect. I went through all of the anger, all of the frustration, all of the fear, everything that we are taught to not dwell in. But as a spiritual operator, my brothers and sisters, as a student of Reverend Wells, as a member of Christ Universal Temple, as a spiritual descendant of the Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, I had a responsibility to turn to my truth and get up quickly. And so we all have to have our own practical ways to do this. I don't want to leave it just in theory. So for me, the way I got up quickly is I started listening to some old sermons I could find on YouTube that really inspired me. I listened to an old sermon by Reverend Dr. Derek B. Wells called From Setbacks to Comebacks. I picked up an old book by Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman called It Works If You Work It. I worked through prayer work, prayer assignments being given to me by the Reverend Galen McDowell. If you've ever worked with him, you know he's going to give you some homework. I did my homework. I called my wife and said, listen, I need you to take a day off of work with me. We are going to have a spa day because I need to get up quickly. I cannot stay here So those were my methods to make sure that I could see the light being shown into my cell. I could get up out of there and access the idea for my own salvation. I hope you are with me. So like Peter, when you find yourself kind of mired in, and again, it's going to happen because that's what happens with entrepreneurs, you've got to prepare yourself to get up quickly in whatever way works for you. It might be listening to some good gospel music. It might be taking a walk outside. It might be speaking to friends. It might be getting counseling. It might be watching sermons, going to church, listening to noonday inspiration. Whatever you've got to do to get that light to shine in so you can get to the angel, that is the high level idea that can free you from what appears to be keeping you down. Again, the scripture said, get up quickly. And the chains fell off his wrist. The angel said to him, fasten your belt and put on your sandals. He did so. Then he said to him, wrap your cloak around you and follow me. These are all steps of preparation. You've got to prepare to move even before you know where you're going. As a spiritual operator, before you see the solution, you've got to prepare for it as if it is going to show up right now. What preparations are you making for your success right now? Even if you don't know step 3, step 10, what preparations are you making for it? What sandals are you putting on? What belt are you putting? What cloak are you putting on to prepare yourself so that when that angel moves you and says you're going this way or you're going that way, you're ready to do it because you expected a miracle. You prepared for it. You are walking in your divinity, and you can move when that idea, that high level, that fountainhead idea comes, you are ready to move. So since that so-called binding action that negatively affected our business has passed, we have now been presented with a new opportunity. So even what appeared to me to possibly be life-ruining, to be financially ruining, has now been replaced with a new and better opportunity. All the money that it looked like we were going to lose, we not only got that money back, but now we have the opportunity to make more money than I have ever made in my entire years combined. To God be the glory. But the only way I could get to that idea, the only way I could access it is to listen to the teachings that could get me up. That I could get up quickly so that I could get to the angels, that is the high level idea that brought me the new, the better, the more prosperous business opportunities that came from the so-called calamity. My spiritual operators, my spiritual leaders, my brothers and sisters, you must always make a way to gain access to your angels. That is the key to the spiritual operator in entrepreneurship and in business. To access that quickening thoughts of God appearing in the form of divine intelligence and divine intuition and divine understanding. That is our job. Do this and you will become illumined in a way that so-called market forces and governments and competition and business will have no effect on you. You will walk in your divine birthright of success, health, and happiness. And so it is.
I hope you enjoyed that presenter. And as I imagine you already know, the Ignite Your Dream Conference is just the beginning. We are launching our online community, and we know it as the CUT Collective. You can join the collective from anywhere around the world. And in addition to the dynamic lesson sermons you get each and every Sunday morning, you'll be able to get content that's created especially for you. And the next amazing offer we've got coming is our 7 keys to unlock your potential. And that series begins real soon. So sign up for the collective today and tell at least 5 friends. When you come to the collective, you get to come as you are, but I promise you, you won't stay as you are. There's no cost to join, and so it's easy to become a part. Let's go. Let's make great things happen.